The joint practice with the Motor City Kitties in the books, and plenty of good for the Houston Texans coming out of this one after a little bit of a slow start. The four biggest takeaways from the joint practice coming your way, presented by everybody. Check them out in the links in the description down below. But let's start with that slow start and strong finish for the Houston Texans offense. Early on, the Detroit Lions defense was pretty darn good. They were caving in the left side of the offensive line, getting some pretty good pressure on C.J. Stroud. The ball was on the ground a lot with a bunch of incomplete passes, and really the only guy getting open on a consistent basis early on was Nico Collins, but even Stroud was having trouble finding him on a consistent basis, and looked like he was about to hit a monster play to Nico down the sidelines, and then the Lions came flying in to bat it away. So the pressure, good defense at the line of scrimmage against the run game by the Lions early on, and just some miscommunications, some missed throws from the Texans offense in those early little bits, but then they settled down and got going over the course of practice. And C.J. Stroud talked about it after practice and said, that's exactly what we were hoping to do after we had that slow start, was settle down, get things going. And it started with that line of scrimmage and that offensive line. And Stroud praised his offensive linemen from Jake Andrews and Laken Tomlinson, the center and left guard, who kind of got things started, as Stroud said, to Ariante Ursery and Titus Howard at tackle, and even Ed Ingram at guard. He praised them for setting the tone with the physicality and allowing them to run the football, because then the rushing attack kind of got going. Lots of success over the course of the practice from lots of different running backs, including one of the best showings so far for veteran running back Nick Chubb in this one. And as the rushing attack got going a little bit, then they were able to start throwing the ball around. Stroud was getting the ball out on time. He was making quick and sound decisions with the football as well. And then you started to see guys getting open. Xavier Hutchinson, Jalen Knoll, Jaden Higgins was putting on some good routes on display. And then by about the middle part of practice, Nico Collins became uncoverable. That's right. Nico Collins was getting open however which way he wanted against the Detroit Lions. So it ended up being a pretty solid day for the offense. They did have a hiccup here and there. Stroud underthrew Christian Kirk at one point, and the Lions dove in there and grabbed the ball for an interception. And there was one fourth down play where Stroud just couldn't find anybody. The pressure was getting ready to get to him, so he had to dirt the football. You would have loved for him to just kind of throw it up and give somebody a chance at that point, but there was some pinpoint placement from Stroud to guys in the back part of the end zone throughout the course of this one, and there were some really nice moments where Stroud was in control in the pocket, and then he broke out of the pocket with some well-timed scrambles, a couple of them, I would say, for scores, including one pretty lengthy one where Stroud just saw nobody was near him, and so he took it over to the pylon for a score. It ended up being a pretty decent day for the offense after the slow start. Davis Mills had a couple of rough moments. He had a pass bounce off of Braxton Berrios that ended up as an interception. Mills tried to get somebody else in the corner of the end zone, ended up throwing an interception, but he had some nice plays where he found a couple of players in the end zone for some scores. And I felt like the offense did a good job of settling down and not letting things get out of hand. Last week, the Lions had a joint practice and they dominated the Miami Dolphins. They did not dominate the Houston Texans. Things started slow, but then got settled down, and it was nice to see that the offensive line settled down in this one. And Titus Howard, one-on-one against Aiden Hutchinson, a couple times, 71, got 97 one-on-one, but of course, 97 had his fair share of victories, and when Aiden Hutchinson lined up on the right side of the defense, he had some pretty good success. So a solid day for the offense is how I would phrase it after the slow start, but it's good to see them take the deep breath, make necessary adjustments, and then you really saw what the offense can look like when it clicks, when they're on time, when they're in rhythm, when they're getting rid of the football and not letting the pressure get to C.J. Stroud, and he's not having to roll out and force a decision down the field or try to make a throw on the run. When he can step, bam, get rid of it and find guys, they're moving the football consistently. And then when the rushing attack gets going, that really helps them settle some things down. And Stroud talked about that after practice. When they run the ball, they know they're eventually going to be able to pass the ball really well. Passing the ball wasn't easy against the Texans secondary. Now, there were a few moments where Jared Goff looked pretty good. Jameson Williams got Derek Stingley Jr. at one point on a route that was pretty similar to the one that I felt like Tetaroa McMillan had some success against Stingley last week in the joint practice. But later on, Stingley showcased some impressive speed to stay with Williams. Now, Williams got behind him. The throw was a little too long, and he was out of bounds. Looked like he might have been in bounds from where I was standing, but the officials obviously closer. So that wasn't great from Stingley, but he showcased the speed to keep up with Williams, found the gear to kind of be right there in the vicinity. Although if a little bit better throw, probably would have been a touchdown. Then Jalen Smith had some rough moments. Isaac Tesla, the rookie wide receiver out of Arkansas, got him at one point. Khalif Raymond had a couple of really nice plays over the middle where he sort of found himself open in the open field against the defense and made some things happen. He got Jalen Smith at one point. But there were some really excellent coverage moments from the Texans secondary. That's about the most of the bad ones. The good ones were really good. Stingley had one of the plays of the day. It was incredible. Amon-Ra St. Brown is so tough to defend. And it looked like early on he was going to have some success. He'd found some open areas. But then one play, he went out there and Derek Stingley ran the route for Amon-Ra St. Brown. And when Stingley turned around, it looked like Goff was throwing the ball to him, like Stingley was the wide receiver. And in fact, the roles fully reversed when Amon-Ra St. Brown had to reach over and bat the ball away from Derek Stingley. That's how good Stingley had done on that rep, is that he was ready to be the receiver, and he forced Amon-Ra St. Brown to be the defender in that moment. That was excellent. Stingley flew in for another incredible pass breakup when they were near the end zone as well. And he was pretty solid, though a couple of Jameson Williams successful reps against him did kind of raise my eyebrow, but it's cornerback. You're going to get beat time here or there. Kalen Bullock and Amon-Ra St. Brown, back-to-back plays. Amon-Ra St. Brown got him the first time for a touchdown. Kalen Bullock, well, it was beautiful how he did. It's almost like he baited Goff into doing it. He ended up on St. Brown, and as St. Brown was making his way across the formation, Goff saw him and ripped it. He didn't see Kalen Bullock, who almost just kind of snuck up in there and ripped the ball out of the air for an interception. That was a really good job by Bullock. Jalen Petrie had some nice coverage moments as well, where he was flying in there, knocking some things away. Sam Laporta, the tight end for the Detroit Lions, let me tell you, he's very good. I mean, you already knew that Sam Laporta was very good, but he is very good, and he gave the Texans linebackers fits throughout this one. Petrie held up pretty well. I would say about 50-50 against Laporta when Petrie ended up in coverage against him. One, he flew in there and batted it away from Laporta. Petrie had a nice little tackle for a no gain or tackle for a loss as the Lions were trying to get things going, and he, of course, knifed in there for some run defense as well. And Kamari Lassiter towards the back end of the day, step for step with Jameson Williams, had him just totally, fully 100% locked up. That pass was not getting to Jameson Williams. So pretty good darn coverage day by the Texans defense, with a hiccup here or there. But when you have a pretty good offense that you're going against, you're going to have a hiccup here or there. I mentioned it, presented by everybody. Please check out Platinum AC and Heating for all your HVAC needs. Get you the perfect pair of jeans from the perfect jean. And if you need a new draft board for your fantasy football league, hit my friends at draftkits.co. Check them all out in the links in the description down below. The offensive standouts that we didn't get to in that initial conversation about offense. Jalen Noel really nice day for him. D'Amico Ryan said he feels like the game has slowed down for Noel, and that has been easier for him to execute out there on the field. And he mentioned sometimes the rookies get so deep in the playbook they think too much. He told Noel, hey, just go be a football player. And that's exactly what he was. Noel was quick, and when he wins so fast, and that's going to be important for a team that likes to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands in a timely manner. Guys that can win quickly. Noel looked like the best rookie wide receiver on the field when there were three highly touted rookie wide receivers on the field. Tesla, of course, his teammate, Jaden Higgins, but Noel looked really good. Xavier Hutchinson had a catch for a touchdown in the back of the end zone. We mentioned how good Nico Collins looked. I mean, hits Nico Collins, and he was unguardable in the middle. Christian Kirk, defenses just lose him. It's like they forget that 13 exists, and the next thing you know, he's got a catch in the middle of nowhere, and he's making hay, or he finds himself with no one around him in the end zone. A really good day from Christian Kirk as well. Not much to note from the tight ends. Nothing really going through the air with them, a play here or there, but nothing to note. I mentioned it. Almost every running back had a nice moment throughout this one, led by Nick Chubb. One of the better days for Nick Chubb. Physically, he did not look impressive at the start of training camp. That looks to be behind him. Now, he looked quick. He looked agile. For the first time that I can remember in training camp, he made an incredible horizontal move to find himself a hole. And there were moments where these Lions defenders were not ready for Nick Chubb to be in there in a full tackle situation. You know, you just kind of wrap up or you thump a little bit. There were a couple guys that would have been on their keister if it was a live rep and Nick Chubb was firing in there like he can, as we've seen him do in that preseason game against the Carolina Panthers. There's some really good stuff from Chubb earlier this week. Nick Caley mentioned how well everybody pass blocks. There were some good pass blocking moments from them. Dameon Pierce caught a touchdown. I was wondering earlier this week if he'd be more involved in the passing game. He was. He caught a touchdown. It was just a perfectly designed play, just a walk-in touchdown. Nothing to it really there for Pierce. Explosive plays from Woody Marks and Jawar Jordan. Marks, man, he has the best horizontal movement of any of the running backs. He got out left and turned on the jets. It was awesome to watch him go. Jawar Jordan had a similar play where he turned on the jets. Both of them would have had explosive runs in those live games. And I'm not also sure that in a game, Marks might not have tried to cut that thing back inside and take it to the house. It's a good job by both of those young running backs. And then British Brooks had one of those rumbling plays where he fired through the hole that the offensive line created. There was like an arm tackle. That's not going to take down British Brooks. And he kept going, and it would have been a good long while before any Lions defenders would have caught up to British Brooks. So those are your offensive standouts and standout moments from the day to go along with, again, the offense starting slow and then really getting it going. I want to wrap up and talk about that front seven / the defensive line for the Texans. Oh, man. There were some great moments stuffing the Lions rushing attack after two awesome moments by the Lions rushing attack. Jahmyr Gibbs is a very special player. And on back-to-back plays from about 15 yards out, he ran for touchdowns. The first one, just a run play to the right. He turned the corner. Excellent blocking. Nobody got out there. He turned on the speed. Touchdown. You couldn't do anything about it because the blocking was excellent. Even Will Anderson was kind of motioning to some of his teammates about what happened. The very next play, Jahmyr Gibbs took it to the left, and this one was a little bit slower developing. He waited for the lineman to get out there, set everything up. He hit a juke to kind of dispatch a defender, turned on the speed, and then ran through what probably would have been an attempted tackle that he could have broken for a touchdown on those back-to-back plays. But that was all the dynamic, special, incredible stuff from Jahmyr Gibbs in this practice. They tried to throw him the ball at one point. Petrie was in there to stop him right after he caught it, and they got almost nothing running up the middle from the middle part to the end of practice, the Lions. There was a draw play here or there early. Montgomery had a 4-yard carry here or there, but almost nothing consistently on the ground, which put the passing offense and a little bit of a weird position for Jared Goff, though he had some success here and there. Will Anderson had a strip sack of Jared Goff. It was impressive. He got the defense really pumped up. Darrell Taylor, excuse me, had a strip sack where he got in there and got Kyle Allen and knocked the ball away. He's just been consistently so good throughout the course of training camp. This is a really nice pickup by the Houston Texans getting Darrell Taylor, and he looks like for sure the third best defensive end on this team. Derek Barnett was out there causing some havoc. Daniil Hunter and Tommy Togiai had a great rush together at one point where they just moved earth right into Jared Goff's lap, and Goff had to get rid of the football. So I'd like to see that. Tim Settle was all over the place. He and Dylan Horton combined on a sack, and then he had to hold up because he would have just flattened Goff on one play. It was a great job by Settle to get loose and get after Goff. They stuffed the run, as I mentioned. A couple of really nice linebacker moments. Christian Harris showcased a lot of his athleticism. One time he did get juked, and Khalif Raymond took it in for a touchdown. That wasn't good, but Harris's ability to identify or recognize where the ball was going, he saw Goff go into the sideline and was able to kind of figure it out, go out there and cause an incomplete pass. It was a good job by him. Henry To'oTo'o was filling holes and gaps that the offensive line of the Lions created really well. EJ Speed played downhill in this one. Really good day from the front seven. Yeah, Goff had some success here and there. Again, good offense. You're not going to totally shut them down, but some nice moments from that front seven in this joint practice. Really liked what I saw from the defense, because even when there was a hiccup or looked like the Rams, there was nothing consistently awesome from the Rams. The Lions. The Lions. There wasn't anything consistently awesome. It'd be a play here, and then the defense would punch back. It was kind of a back and forth affair between the Lions offense and the Texans defense. So good job there. Overall, I liked the joint practice for the Texans. I'd go slight lean to the Lions for the victory just because of the slow start by the Texans offense. But after that slow start by the offense, things were really heavily favored to the Texans in the back end of this one. And I'll throw you one more in there. Kaimi Fairbairn kicked an absolutely bomb from at one point with the wind when it was cooler. And we know Kaimi Fairbairn doesn't like those cooler moments. But he just bombed that thing right through the uprights at one point when the Texans had to settle for a field goal. So good joint practice, I would assume, serves as the preseason finale for a lot of these players. Won't see everybody in that final preseason game. And then, of course, cutdown day is just a few days away. So what'd you make of the joint practice breakdown? Did you like what you heard about this Houston Texans team? Let me know in the comment section down below. On your way down there, thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. SNL with myself and Landry Locker weekdays at 4 p.m. Check that channel out. And appreciate you watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait till we talk Texans again soon. Late night in Detroit, a little bonus food review for you. Okay, so got into Detroit late, delay in Chicago, yada, yada. Nobody cares about that. Staying at a pretty cool Best Western. It's a giant pink Best Western. Never seen it before. Tons of just classic car art, like on all the hallways of the hotel. Kind of gives a Shining vibe in the hotel. Like it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. Anyway, Hot Chicks food truck. They have a special of the month that was a chicken Caesar baguette. And I have to tell you, just initially looking at this, it is nowhere of the size that it looks like it was online, but it still looks good and it smells amazing. And they put my extra Caesar dressing on the side, and I got a giant thing of loaded fries as well. My God, they put like 7 potatoes in here. Jeez, that's a huge thing of loaded fries. This was like $6 for this giant thing of loaded fries. And then this is the buffalo chicken Caesar salad baguette. So garlic bread baguette, and then a buffalo chicken tender Caesar salad. This is not going to sound good with the headset on, But let's give it a food review. As you know, the scale is 1 to 11. Hot Chicks food truck here in Detroit on the buffalo chicken Caesar salad baguette. Look at that Parmesan. I don't want to drip this all over my computer, but the fresh shaved Parmesan on there. All right, let's give it a big old bite here. That's a good sandwich. That's a very good sandwich. Also, they had a Coke Zero advertisement on the Coke machine and didn't have Coke Zero here at the hotel, which was funny to me. That's a really good sandwich. The bread, the baguette is not too soggy. You know, I got it DoorDashed here, so there's a little bit of a wait. It's not like I got hot off the truck. Let's give it a big dip here in the extra Caesar dressing. Just kind of see what happens here. But that first bite was pretty fantastical. My bites were too big. Oh, man. I took 2 monster bites. I still have a half a sandwich left. Let's try one of these fries here. Then we'll just give Hot Chicks a whole review. I asked for ranch and the Hot Chick sauce here. So I'm going through napkins like I'm Will Anderson on a rookie tackle here. Man, those are good too. All right, Hot Chicks food truck review with the special buffalo chicken Caesar salad baguette sandwich and the loaded fries. 1 to 11. 11's the best thing you've ever had. 1, don't ever try it again. Price point, you know, I got a DoorDash, is a little bit different. It's a pretty good price if you were just there picking it up for the food truck. So the price point doesn't affect it too much. 8.9. 8.9. That's a good sandwich. It's a really good sandwich. They definitely toasted the crap out of that baguette, so it's nice and good. It's fresh on the top. The buffalo chicken's not overpowering. I really like it. It's a good sandwich, and there's enough chicken Caesar, or there's enough Caesar salad on there to make me feel like I'm not having a fried chicken sandwich. So 8.9. Good job, Hot Chicks food truck in Detroit, Michigan, or Dearborn, Michigan, or wherever the heck you actually are. But Hot Chicks food truck in the greater Detroit area. Good job.